This is public relations from tactical marketing to strategic engagement. This is our third masterclass in the optative subject, public relations, from the Faculty of Social Communication and Journalism at the Pontifical Bolivarian University in Bucaramanga, Colombia. First of all, we make a call to Mr. Rafael Calles Moreno, Chief of International Issues at our university. Please welcome, Rafael.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you so much, Professor Jaime, for organizing this activity, and also my pleasure to support all the Faculty of Social Communication and Journalism in this opportunity. Also, I want to say hello and also to thank Diana Viola for this interesting opportunity, also to recognize her amazing career in Canada and also representing quite good our university, UPV, around the world. So thank you so much for being with us today and to offer a little bit of your time to all of our students and audience. This is one of the most important activities that we are starting to doing, and also is a standard from the Faculty of International, for this case, Social Communication and Journalism, following our internationalization guideline. As you know, internationalization is one of the top 3 priorities now currently at UPV, at the same level of quality in academic and also sustainability. And that's the reason why this kind of exercises are so important for us, trying to connect between COIL, between different activities, inviting international speakers to have the opportunity to receive the world in your classrooms and also into the university as a first step to afterwards trying to go to the world, to go outside, and also to check different opportunities and tendencies around the world in terms of education, also for your career. The second point is important of public relations, and it's a topic in which with Professor Jaime, we have been talking during the different semesters about how important is public relations. Between every day, we are doing public relations. Despite you are students from social communication and journalism, or in my case, an international business management, it's always doing public relations, trying to exchange with other people, with other cultures, in other languages. So this kind of experience, it's meeting a different kind of variables in which you will be able also to develop very conditions and also new skills and competences for the near future. And the third point, it's the importance of the topic in which Diana will recall today, and it's that connection between engagement and tactical marketing. If we consider engagement as the level of interaction between a brand and its audience, it's also important for you, and also try to point out and to recall how much engagement are you trying to do with your careers, and also how much engagement are you trying to point out in your work and students, but also in some years as professionals doing international careers as Diana or as many other professionals from the UPV around the world. Once again, thank you so much to Professor Jaime. Also, I want to recognize all the work of Edwin, the director of the faculty, and also all the plan of professors that are trying to do, to implement, and to follow in all these kind of activities to achieve that internationalization commitment that we have to us and we are offering as a standard of quality, but also as an opportunity to check new opportunities and new tendencies, not just in Bucaramanga and Colombia, but also around the world. Thank you so much and all the success today.
Thank you to Rafael Calles Moreno. He is our Chief of International Issues. Now we will hear the greeting of Mr. Edwin Muñoz Neira, Director of our Faculty of Social Communication and Journalism. Welcome.
Morning, everyone. How are you today? All energy? Morning, Monday. Okay, I prepared a short speech for you, for them. Here we go. For us, it's very important to start this meeting and have our beloved former student and now professional Diana Viola as a special guest. She, like now you, as there one day here. Today, she is going to talk about her experience. I hope this is a great benefit to you, that you know firsthand the work that your college, your partners are doing around the world is very valuable. We also want this exercise in English to be constant. We are currently planning some significant change to our curriculum, and the topics we are going to cover today are along those same lines. English is a window to the world. We all know it. But we must also all be aware of learning it. It's not difficult. It's a matter of perseverance and continuous work. A dear teacher in Boston recently told me, you have to lose your fears of English, and losing your fears means jumping in and practicing it. Even if we make mistakes, but trying is the way to learn it. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. Therefore, thank you, Professor Jaime, for your interest and this topic of for creating this event. Thank you, Rafael, for our Director of International Relations, for that excellent attitude as always. Thank you, Diana, for this space, and thank you guys for being here and jumping into English like me now. Enjoy this talk. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for this motivation, our Director of Faculty of Social Communication and Journalism. Well, now it's time to introduce our special guest, and she is Diana Viola. She is a digital marketing expert with extensive experience in advertising and growth marketing. After earning her bachelor degree in communication and journalism from Pontifical Bolivarian University here in Bucaramanga, Colombia, she pursued various digital marketing certifications, including the Digital Marketing and Web Application Certificate from Concordia University in Montreal, Canada. Her international career began at McGill University as a content marketing specialist, continued at Benjamin David Group, a digital marketing agency based in Montreal, and majored at Amilia, a software company where she is the performance marketing manager, responsible for building revenue-generating digital campaigns that drive growth and return on investment. Currently, Diana is focused on developing leadership skills to transition into a more senior role. She is also committed to the mentorship, serving as a mentor at Concordia University, where she supports young professionals in their career transition. I must to say, I'm a very, very proud teacher because I meet Diana in this university because she's graduated in our Faculty of Social Communication and Journalism. Welcome once again, Diana, and thank you for accepting this invitation.
Thank you very much, Jaime, and thank you everyone for such a warm welcome. First of all, I'm grateful for your introduction. It feels reassuring to know that you have the recognition of your peers, and of course, I love the UPV. I love my all the memories that I have from my faculty, and it feels so nice. So, without further ado, I think I'm going to launch my presentation. Yes, thank you so much. So. Again, as an alumna of the Faculty of Communications, I know exactly what it's like to be in your shoes, navigating career choices, trying to understand how you can infuse the learnings gathered throughout your career, your days at school in your career, and then, of course, deciding what to do next, what path to take after graduation might feel a little bit overwhelming, like a lot to process, but I hope that this session can provide you helpful information and valuable insights relevant to you on how we actually connect tactical marketing to a strategic engagement, and why, and what do we mean by that? What do we do with that in the software industry and the tech industry? So, I did prepare some slides for our presentation today. I promise they won't be too long, but I hope this deck will guide us through the conversation without any difficulty. So first of all, I will introduce myself, share a little bit of myself with you. Then I will share the big difference between B2B marketing and communications and B2C marketing. Why? Because in the questions that you share with Jaime, I noticed some curiosity of you regarding these two industries. So I'll be tackling that in a moment. Then I will share the overlap between marketing demand generation. That's what I do, and PR. And then I will share a success story because some of you are curious to see this in action, how everything makes sense together and plays out to generate interesting results. And then some key takeaways for you. And then, well, we'll pass the mic on to you and we'll start asking some questions that I'll be happy to answer. If you have any questions, please take note of those questions. I'm happy to answer in the Q&A portion. Okay. So a little bit about myself. As you already heard from my introduction read by Jaime, my career really transitioned across different industries. I kick off my career in the higher education sector. Then I move to the agency side where my client was the real estate. My clients were the real estate industry. And then finally at Amilia, the tech company where I'm working at, it's a software as a service company, is where my career evolved. It's where I could transition from being a tactical focused professional to a more strategic professional. And this is important because by making that leap, well, that allowed me to get a promotion and start growing, being more visible at my company, and of course, start growing as a professional in a management role. So in this type of roles, when you transition from tactical to a strategy, you focus 70-60% of your time on strategy. You are really developing your steps with thought and with data, and like you are strategizing your campaigns, and every decision that you make, you strategize on that. And then the rest of your job is actually doing things, operating things, like launching things. Or so pretty much in roles that are strategic roles, you are measured by KPIs, key performance indicators, rather than laundry list of tasks accomplished. So you are more valuable for helping the company hit those targets by meeting your KPIs rather than getting things done. So, and this is very relevant to our conversation today because this is how companies achieve success, focusing more on strategy rather than accomplishing and check marking things and people being just busy, just being a more thought out approach with the strategy that helps the company succeed with their targets, but also as professionals, that's what help us grow. That's what allow us to get promotions, be visible, and progress. And I would say that's what makes our job more meaningful. When we transition to this strategy portion, you feel more accomplished because you feel like you are participating to the greater good, contributing to something bigger than what you do every day. So that's why the title of my role, I call myself performance marketer, demand generation marketer, growth hacker, growth marketer, you name it. Actually, my colleagues call what I do witchcraft because the strategic part of my role is about analyzing data from the market. For example, purchase behaviors, digital affinities, firmographics. Firmographics is the same as demographics, like descriptive statistics of people, but with companies. That's firmographics, to build revenue generating campaigns. And then I select the right time and the right channel to deploy those campaigns. And that's the operational or the tactical part of my job. I'm an expert in advertising. So I'm the lead in paid media at my company. So I own all the digital channels to launch display campaigns, search campaigns, you name it. There's plenty of types of campaign depending on our needs that we deploy. So that's kind of the tactical part of my job. Even though I'm not a PR professional, I'm not a PR girl. I don't do press releases. I do not own the brand's voice. I don't do crisis management or reputation management or any of those things. I feel I'm involved and somehow I have the responsibility to also protect the brand of the company because I own that conversation with prospects. I'm that person who's in the middle of that touch point that will capture demand for those prospects that are unaware of our brand. So I'm the one who has to introduce to them a transparent brand, a respectful brand. We've all fallen victim from some unscrupulous marketers that take our personal information and start like sending out information on text messages or emails or things like that. And we didn't even request any of that, but then we ended up in a mailing list and we are bombarded by obnoxious information that we don't want. So that's damaging for the reputation of and the credibility of a brand. So of course, I'm very responsible for that part to ensure that we have a consistent brand that looks and sound as we are, who we are. So this piece is the running joke among B2B marketers. We always say that our jobs are not as fun or as glamorous as B2C marketing professionals because, well, to be fair, B2C marketing has been romanticized by shows like Emily in Paris or, Coca-Cola campaigns or Nike or those big brands. Like the majority of people wants to go into marketing because they admire these massive campaigns, multi-channel billboards, the Super Bowl. It's very inspiring, but the reality is in B2B marketing, we have a more stable, it's a more stable industry resistant to crisis and economical crisis. At the same time, we have less layoffs that the B2C industry goes through. But in our industry as well, we have little room to improvisation. We have little room to say. We never actually say things like, "Oh, let's try this because it's fun or it's trendy or let's try that." Every tactic that we implement comes from a strategy because B2B marketing is all about making the prospects reflect, being relentlessly helpful with our prospects. We have to provide them with information that will help them make a decision. As an example, let's say B2B is business to business and we are selling to a universities. That's our client, our prospects. They are shopping for software, for an admission software for their students. The decision that goes through purchasing a new software is a huge decision because they are going to have that software for the next 4 years, 5 years, or 3 years. It depends. So the sales cycles are longer, and the stakeholders involved in that decision. There are many people sitting at that table. Many people will be impacted by that very decision. So we have to, as marketers in B2B, empower them with information that reassures them and that make them reflect on that choice, on that decision. Whereas with B2C marketing is more emotional. We seek to generate emotional connection. For example, when I was doing real estate, we use lots of graphics, images, like making people feel what's like living in that property or things like that. It's more emotional and appeals to building an experience rather than being rational and very well structured. So that's why I have this little chart only to walk you through these two industries, because there's another industry that's a B2B2C, which is like, for example, Expedia, companies like that they sell to businesses, but the end users are also clients. So it's another beast that I'm not going to tackle today. but for the purpose of this call, the difference between B2B and B2C. So I use brands like Salesforce, HubSpot, Slack, like brands that are not only software as a service. I want to make that clear. It could be aviation, it could be any other industries that sell to companies. B2C is more to the end users. We market to the end users, so Spotify, Netflix, Apple, ChatGPT, the end user interface, for example. As I mentioned, B2B, we sell to businesses. B2C is we sell to the end users or consumers. The sales cycles, as I explained earlier, are longer because many people are affected in B2B, whereas for B2C, it's short, emotional. It's for myself, it's more individual, or my immediate family. It's more rational B2B because it's very return on investment driven. Of course, B2C as well to be sustainable, but the connection that we are seeking is more lifestyle driven, more emotional. The marketing tactics are different as well. So, for example, on B2C, we know what is influencer marketing, which is a big thing for B2C. Our type of influencer marketing in B2B is thought leadership. So we find a best-selling author or a speaker, somebody who's an influential figure in our segment, and we hire that person to do a series of webinars or a series of trainings, or to have to provide us with an interview, something that adds value to that industry. We have case studies. For example, we interviewed clients and we register their success stories with our product, their metrics. So that's very useful for the sales team and for marketing when we are reaching to new segments, to have those proofs, social proof that our product is making, it's being successful and making clients happy. And now the PR focus for B2B is all about credibility and trust. We capitalize on our industry reputation. A big thing for the larger deals is reputation. This, like when we have to deal with larger organizations where CEOs are involved, what matters the most is reputation. What other where fellow CEOs in the industry are saying about our product. And then for B2C is more, again, brand storytelling and perception. Now, a quick success story, how everything plays out together. So in a nutshell, we generated $9 million in opportunities from a campaign. That was a huge success because we exceeded target by 746% of what they were expecting, and we doubled down the site traffic with this campaign. So before deciding what to do in terms of what ads, what ad copy, what landing pages, before those tactics, email marketing, before all of that, we sat down with different stakeholders. It was sales involved, PR and communications involved, product marketing, acquisition, myself. And we designed these campaigns with, well, many things in mind, but just to break it down, segmentation was our first North Star. We designed this campaign by ideal customer profile, what were the territories that the sales team were prospecting. Then on my end, engagement score, this is very technical, but pretty much, and intent signals, this is pretty much the following. Our website, we have the pricing page, we have the About Us section, we have different sections, right? So the interaction of a prospect that visits the pricing page is more valuable than a person who visits the About Us or the job opportunities. The job opportunities at the company, well, they are disqualified, but people who perform certain actions and belong to high interest accounts, companies, we assign them a score on on our HubSpot or CRM. So when the person hit certain milestones, like engagement milestones, so the first time that person visited our site, visit the pricing page, and then that person registered for a webinar, and then that person downloaded an ebook, and then that person visited the contact us page. So those actions were giving them points. And we segmented our engagement by those actions. That was one signal. And the other, of course, what I mentioned before, ideal customer profile, territories, all of those things. And we crafted our messaging that goes on the ads, that goes on the email sequences, that goes on the sales prospecting emails, all of the channels of communications, press releases. We segmented that messaging based on those audiences. High engaged audiences and less engaged audiences and high interest audiences. And then, well, the cherry on top was an in-office summit in our headquarters. This is 100% a PR and sales effort. So we organized a cocktail, like a summit, 3-day summit in our office with the CEOs and vice presidents of certain organizations in the US. We flew them from the US to have the company experience. We wanted them to see not only the app demoing live, but to meet the company, to see the employees, the customer care team, to see who's picking up the phone when they had a problem, to see the vibrant company culture, to see Montreal. Montreal is a bilingual city. Our first language is French. So we wanted them to experience that French culture as well. And well, as you can see, there's many tactics that come from a strategy playing out together. I call it orchestration, to, of course, hit those targets that we were assigned by the executive team. So we were very pleased by this, and they were very pleased by the results, of course. And just as I wrap up, some takeaways from this conversation: marketing tactics aren't like one size fits all. It depends on many factors, and that's why a strategy is so important. And PR also plays an important role because it determines the tone and sort of the guideline of how we are approaching these audiences. With, for example, B2B, the objective is building trust and authority. With B2C is more awareness and emotional connection. So yeah, moving from tactical execution to a strategic engagement means aligning everybody at the company, key stakeholders, the key players, which are PR or communications team, sales and marketing, and I forgot here product marketing as well. But to drive long-term demand, we really need to align everybody with messaging and intention to get the results that we are looking for. And that's it. It's time for your questions.
Well, Diana, thank you so much for learning to us this morning. And of course, this is time for the interaction with our students. So we have to call any of you, my dear PR students. So once we're ready. Juan Carlos, okay, please come here because she wants to see you too.
Hi, Diana. Good morning. Nice to meet you. Well, it is very important, everything you show us regarding the marketing, the strategies you use in this company. And I got a question for you regarding the technology that is like your main business. And we all know that e-commerce, the artificial intelligence and technology in general is evolving over the years. And as a communicators or public relationers, we need to we must to adapt to these changes. How do you manage to stay up to date with this with these companies' requirements? I mean, you continue studying, taking courses, or empirically you learn what you need?
Thank you, Juan Carlos, for your question. That's a very interesting question because we all professionals, especially those who work in tech, we need to adapt quickly. That's the main skill that we need. Really, the reality of this times is that we are transforming. The industry and the world is transforming at a pace that is even faster than what our parents lived. So, like, big changes, innovations, breakthroughs come every 5 years rather than every 15 years. Like, my mom, she had internet when she was an adult, and then she saw the next big thing in 15, 20 years later. But now we are seeing artificial intelligence in 5 years, and in 10 years, it's going to be even wilder. And so, to your question, of course, continuous learning, of course, online courses, webinars, networking is so important. Have friends in the industry, like connect with people who are doing what you are doing. Have good relationships with your colleagues, because when people leave the company, they move on and they have other jobs, you can consult with them. It's like professional friendships, like you help each other. That's something that I do, and even a vice president that was in my company is doing with me. Like, we are friends. Like, she moved on, she left, but like, we consult all the time. And that's one. And of course, hands-on experience. Learn as much as you can from clients that you have. Take every job as an opportunity to learn. Don't beat yourself up. And of course, work on your empathy and self-compassion with yourself. That's the most important thing, because we have to understand that we don't have all the answers. We will make mistakes. So, but it comes from a good place. If it comes from a good place and with a good intention, you made a mistake, and it's okay. But like, don't beat yourself up. Yeah, work on your empathy and self-compassion as well.
I totally agree with you, Diana. I'm afraid people is focused just on gadgets and technology, but not in face-to-face relationships. And I think it's the most important in the case. Well, we now have David, and he has two questions.
Hi, Diana. Nice to meet you. My name is David. Well, my questions have a specific approach. As you say, that it's important B2B negotiation as a marketer. So in this approach, where you need to generate engagement not only with a client, with a customers or stakeholders, but with an entire company, what is the difference between addressing a company reputation to establish authority versus having an engagement with a general audience? And the second one is, okay, thank you.
That's the first one. So I should respond to that one first. Okay. So thank you for your question. I think, if I understood correctly, you want to understand what's the difference between building reputation for like revenue and like doing business with other companies, and engaging with your community and like building a following and reputation with the end users. Is that the question? Like the two types of engagement?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So first of all, with branding, there's layers of branding. There's the employer's brand, which is every brand wants to capture new employees, for example. So like, managing that, we are a nice place to work, and like that image of attracting prospects to work for you, that's one layer of the brand. The other brand is how the general public, so for example, as with the end users, they are not our clients, but they are the clients of our clients. So we also need to balance, in terms of engagement, what type of content we shared online. So like, the majority, let's say 70% of our content is targeted to prospects to add value to them. And then the rest of the time, we generate more content that's about teaching how to use our platform or it's more for the end user side. So it's like balancing out. Again, I'm not the content person. They have their way of balancing how much content they are putting out for prospects and marketing objectives, and then how much for engagement score, engagement and reputation with the end users at large. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you. Can I say the second one now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, with your impressive journey as a performance marketer, could you describe your favorite PR campaign that you helped development or work on?
Well, first of all, that's so sweet to say that my career is impressive. I think my career is only impressive for myself, but thank you. I take that. But the example of a successful campaign, the one that I just mentioned, the success story that I mentioned, we call it ABM. This is a type of marketing campaign that's called account-based marketing. Again, it involves different stakeholders and well, I didn't participate actively in the PR aspect because I'm not a PR person, I'm a demand gen person. But the component of the cocktail, the summit, the press releases that went out, all of those things. Or for example, I have that before having this cocktail and throughout the process of building that campaign, this organization, a nonprofit organization that's huge in the US that we were trying to close, they organized a fundraising, for example, and they were donating money to charity for each runner that signed up. So my company donated double of the registration for each Amilian who run. I run. And I was part of that initiative, and I was part of that big check. But I was part of the crew who was running for a cause, and that's 100% a PR initiative. Of course, I wasn't designing this strategy behind that because I'm not a PR person, but I was supporting that initiative with my colleagues and the company at large.
Well, thank you so much, Diana. Now it's time for the ladies. We have Diana's questions.
Thank you, teacher. Hi, Diana. Morning. Okay, my question is, from your experience in strategic and operational roles, what practical advice would you give to people who want to use digital marketing and PR together to build strong connection between brands and communities?
Mm-hmm. Oof, that's a very interesting question. So know your objectives is the first one. What are you trying to accomplish? That's your North Star. Digital marketing, it's broad. Like you do things that are free and things that are paid, is advertising, and the things that are free are like search engine optimization and all of those things. So like knowing your objectives and how much you are able to spend in terms of resources, in terms of human resources and money. And then with PR, the second one is like build relationships, try to network as much as possible, try to introduce your brand to the right people based on your objectives. It all depends on what do you have in mind for your business. But these two things, have clear objectives, decide based on your resources. And then for PR, of course, network. Talk to as many people as possible, build relationships, be visible. Nowadays, you can be visible by making reels, making TikToks, making, webinars yourself on YouTube or on whatever. Like there's many channels that you can take advantage of for free that will capture people's attention. I hope that answers.
Thank you, Diana.
Okay, now I have Marjorie Smith.
Okay, good morning, Diana. Nice to meet you. And thank you for such a grateful talk. And my question is, how do you manage your company's image and reputation in traditional and digital media to ensure current and effective communication with your audience?
Okay. So I don't manage directly reputation because I'm not a PR professional. However, as an advertiser, I have control or visibility of comments that people left in different portals. So I flag that to the director of brand and communications, and like they take over. Also, there are some comments that are better tackled by the customer care team. So like when you are in a company that's medium or like that have different stakeholders, you have to know the protocol, and you have to assign that communication to the best person, because it's not about responding because we need to be prompt and respond fast. It's more about responding the right way to the person who's asking for something. So, as an example, once we had a horrible review of a CEO of a large company in the US, and I flagged that. And I'm like, hey, we are this horrible comment. Like, what do we do here? It was that bad because that the CEO of our company was so surprised by how unhappy this person was. This person, his company had good training. They gave him great comments. His team was happy, but then the CEO comes and like give a horrible review, like what's happening. So our CEO had to take over. He had to call him and had a conversation. Hey, what can we do for you? You know, like it was beyond the director of comms and PR. It had to be handled by C-suite to C-suite. So those things, knowing that protocol, but like being we as comms people who have access to channels, we need to be able to flag when something's not going right in the right time. Yeah,
Thank you so much, Diana.
my pleasure.
Well, of course, the social responsibility of a company, it depends of everyone in the company. Well, now we have Santiago, Diana.
Hi, Diana. First of all, thank you for being here with us. And my question is, what has been the most difficult moment or situation that you have had to overcome in your role as a performance marketing manager?
Okay, so I think the most stressful situation was when we didn't meet the targets for that year, and the company did a massive layoff. Like the company fired 12%, no, 15% of the company. I survived, but I knew um, that it was on me directly. Like I had a direct responsibility to keep my job safe, not only my job, but somebody else's job safe. So I had to, with my boss, we had to rebuild, go back to the board and redo everything from scratch, and build, like destroy everything that we were doing and relaunch everything and refine and be thorough. And it was intense. It was like 2 months between December and January of hard work, and we started seeing results at the end of Q1. So like in March, we started seeing positive results. And then, well, it skyrocketed from there. It just started improving, but that was tough. Like seeing people go, because when we missed our targets, it's not only marketing, it's not only sales, it's like a whole company leadership issue. But you play a role in it. You have to understand that not having a job for a job is, well, at least it's my work ethic. I have to do it right, and if I can contribute to change the story, I will do that.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
But once again with the ladies, Paula, we have Paula at this moment.
Hi, Diana. Nice to meet you. So I want to ask you, what advice would you give to someone who wants to venture into this field?
Uh, oof. What would I say? It's marketing and communications it's huge. But like, listen, for example, I live in Montreal. We speak French. I speak French. I speak English. However, I would have been a better communicator in Spanish. I would have been a great PR girl in Spanish. Uh, I speak French. I speak English, but still, that's not it. That it's not perfect for build a living out of my languages and skills. You know what I mean? So I chose that path, the path where I am at now, because I could get the skills that I wanted and my languages didn't matter as much. So I could make mistakes and it was still okay, you know? I wasn't managing the image or the voice of a brand in the mass media, you know? So I picked my battles, and perhaps that's the piece of advice that I would give. Like, know yourself, know what you like, and know what you do the best. And understand that you can capitalize on that. Like, if you are really good on designing, for example, and you can find a way on visual communications, you know, they find your strengths, because marketing and comms and PR is a huge field. There's jobs and opportunities everywhere. But like, try to find your strength and your passion and pursue that. That would be my advice.
Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I remember Diana was the first student in our Faculty of Social Communication and Journalism that visited United Nations and made a speech in that place. So, see, guys, the issue is that believe in yourself, and in your abilities. That's very, very important. Okay, now I have Daniel.
Hey, Diana. My name is Daniel. Nice to meet you. Well, I want to do a little question, but I'm going to give you a special situation. So, I want to know, in event of a security breach at the company that expose sensitive customer data, what would be the immediate action plan to manage the crisis and maintain customer trust?
Okay, so again, I'm not an expert in crisis management, but I would say the following: be prompt. You have to respond, and you cannot delay your answer, because a leak in customer data, it's a crime. You could damage the life of somebody. Like, imagine if it's something medical records, and they get leaked, and you lose jobs opportunities because they know that you have a certain illness. You know, you can damage the life of somebody by oops, a mistake. There are levels of mistakes, and that's a huge messed up. So first, being prompt in your reaction. Second, I would say it's ownership. Like, take ownership. The company needs to acknowledge that it's their fault, and it's of course the responsibility of the CEO as the one who needs to address this publicly. I would say, of course, this is a situation that deserves mass media coverage, like doing a press conference, something like that, because it's huge, and offer compensation. You need to compensate your customers, your clients, because that's a big messed up. So I would say that would be the protocol, and of course, internal communications protocol with customer care, whatever it is, to try to contain the feedback or the angry calls or whatever, but like, give everybody what they need, the reassurance that they need, and take ownership.
Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Daniel. Well, the next one is Nicole. So,
Hi, Diana. Like to my classmates, nice to meet you. And my question is, nowadays consumers look for brands with real values, and performance marketing can help strengthen strategic commitment. However, if not done right, and brand might seem opportunistic,
How do you think performance marketing can be used without falling in debt?
Mhm. I think respecting data privacy, that's a big one. Um, as I mentioned, we've all been victims of signups from things that we didn't request, like brands sending us emails or communications on text messages that we didn't want, or so, and that's damaging for a company's reputation and trust. So without being opportunistic is you need to know your target. You need to know, like, in terms of performance marketing, because advertising can be intrusive. So B2B marketing is more respectful because we work with signals. We work with what companies are active in marketing. We work with what people are searching actively. So we don't target people like big masses that look alike a person who would like this product. It could be more invasive for B2C. Like, for example, if you are selling lipsticks or like makeup, you will target women between 18 and, I don't know, 60. I don't know, depending on your brand and whatever. So it's knowing your target market, knowing your signals, and respecting respecting privacy. Like, you cannot email a person who hasn't voluntarily signed up for something from you. And if that person wants to remove your communications from your list, you have to remove them. It's just respecting people's boundaries, I think. Yeah, I would say that. I hope that answers.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, Nicole. And now we have Samir, and he has a very interesting question for you, Diana.
Hi, Diana. Nice to meet you. My question is, how important was UPV in your training? Do you think you came out well prepared?
I would say, of course, of course. The university gave me the tools to, for example, what I do research. Back in my days at the university, I was in the semillero with Giovanni. Like, I joined different research groups. So, like, I learned quantitative and qualitative research at the university, and that helped me to stand out in my first job when I got my first communications job, because I had a very like scientific approach. Of course, your bachelor's degree is your first step. It's what will allow you to get your foot at the door. But after, if you want to become a specialist, an expert in your field, you have to keep building on top of that big foundation, the strong foundation that you have. But yeah, of course, and the discipline, the the standard of quality of my work, all of that comes from the university, the framework that I received at school, for sure.
Thank you, Diana. And finally, we'll have Linda Luz.
Hi, Diana. Nice to meet you. My question is, how has the public relation landscape changed in recent years, especially with the advent of social media?
Mhm. Mm. Well, social media is not a novelty anymore. Social media has been around for over 20 years. So when I joined the labor market, it was already there. My first job was social media and like dealing with comms, digital comms already. So I didn't experience that transition between like no having social media and then having what I think is the real disruption right now is AI, artificial intelligence. It really, I love it. I'm a huge advocate. It allows me to scale up my work, do more things, shorten the time of accomplishing something. It helps me strategize. I feel like it expands my my capacity, my brain capacity. I think AI, I don't use AI to do my work. I do the work, but I ask AI to proofread my work. So before I use Grammarly, like it's a plugin that you have that corrects your grammar for English or French. I use ChatGPT. I do my work and I just ask ChatGPT to read if there's any mistake or something like that. But it's my work, my words, my thoughts, everything is in there. So I love AI, but at the same time, it's dangerous for PR professionals because deep fakes, like fake news. There's many risks, and I think now more than ever we need tech savvy professionals that can understand and can identify fake information right away and can um, guide people. So we need leaders, professionals who are leaders in tech that could help people understand the reality. So, yeah, I hope that answers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Diana, do we have time for another round of questions? Or at least 4 questions more?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
is your
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I still have time. I'm checking, but all good.
Okay, guys, 4 questions more. Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry. There goes another question for you. It is like very
Go ahead.
interesting to know like these things, these advices you give us. Um, well, I was checking the webpage from Amilia Enterprises, and you are part from the growth team. And I know that the entire team from Amilia works for the growth of the company. However, you are part of this team specifically, isn't? So, do you feel that in this team you have like additional responsibilities than the other teams, like customer experience or team and culture team?
Oh, 100%. I have the same pressure that sales have, and we don't have commissions. So,
Oh,
like, yeah, we don't have commissions. They have the incentive to sell us crazy. I have the pressure of bringing them the deals without commission. But that's the reality of us. Yeah, growth marketers, our responsibility is provide them with prospects, with a target of prospects that they will convert. And I'm responsible, me, myself, of 30% of that pipeline. And then, of course, the rest comes from other sources like direct traffic, organic, whatever. But like 30% of that pipeline of opportunities is me, Diana, who has to do that. So, yeah, I have that pressure. And if it doesn't go well, I feel the heat. So, yeah.
yeah, I think that's from the communicators or specifically your role. And I have a little bit question. How many people do you have in charge in this case?
At this moment, I don't manage people because I'm an individual contributor. So I manage myself pretty
Oh,
much.
all right,
Yeah,
right.
it's
That's
that's
responsible.
how in tech works. Yeah, you manage yourself, so you are independent.
All right, thank you, Diana.
My pleasure.
Diana, another question. Um, I saw in the slides of the presentation that it's important to like a performance of campaign marketing, the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel is like inbound marketing. Yeah.
Yes, you got it. Yes, that's it. That's inbound.
Okay. My question is KPIs, the key performance indicator, to get results. How important is this metrics to improve the performance of different strategies? Thank you.
Well, we go more technical now. I like this. Okay, so pretty much the funnel. You asked for the funnel, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. That's kind of the machine that marketing has to build. We together, all the marketing team, build that inbound that funnel to bring down the prospects. So pretty much what I do specifically is capture demand of people who are top middle of funnel, but like we work not with unaware, like up in the funnel is unaware of the problem. We don't care about those people. We care about people who are top funnel, but like they are already aware that they have a problem. So we spend money in converting these people, bringing them down the funnel. How? With content, webinars, ebooks, advertising. We educate them into that problem. The ones who are already solution aware, who are like but are middle of funnel, like already looking for a software solution. We have other tactics which are more sales direct things. Like those people are the ones that we directly send to sales. And that is very important for KPIs because we have, for that funnel, we have some KPIs or like it's jargon, but like we have something that's called NQL, SQL opportunity. It's like it's phases in that journey, and we have metrics for each phase. So like how many of those MQLs who are at the top become SQL? How many of them become opportunities? How many of them become close one? And we have metrics for that, like targets for each quarter. So we need to have certain number of MQLs in order to convert. It's statistical. Like we need to have X number of MQLs to convert SQLs and then to convert into opportunities. And that will make us cost effective. It's very statistical. It's a model that we develop internally with the director of demand gen. It's me, the director of demand gen, and of course the CFO. And the CFO give us what they want and we have to deliver. So pretty much. I hope that answers.
Well, David's question is more technical because I must to say, Diana, he and a few of our students have experiences working in e-marketing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it shows.
Yeah. Marjorie Smith, once again.
Okay, Diana, I have a little bit question about your personal experience as a work in this company, Amilia. And the question is, what will you say is what was the most difficult for you when you started working in this position?
Overcoming imposter syndrome. That's the big one. Believing that you can do it. That's everything's in your mind, honestly. Like you go to get a job like this, you have to get like 3 rounds of interviews, then a work sample, then you present the work sample. It's different layers and phases of interviews, and you get there and then you start doubting yourself. You start like, oh, am I good enough? You see all these like targets and metrics and goals, and like you see everybody more confident about their job than you are. And then of course, like having to speak in public, that was the worst. Like presenting metrics and performance with like in front of an audience, in front of the CFO, in front of other people, that was mortifying. But I'm glad my director, he coached me. I love him so much because he really got me and he support me. That's the role of a director, a person who mentors you, a person who empowers you. Of course, it's you have to own your work and be proud of your work because you are doing the heavy lifting. But you need sincere feedback from a person who wants to see you succeeding. And that was it. He supported me, and my team was also very supportive. I have to practice a lot public speaking to be confident about my work and take ownership. Okay, I'm bringing these results. It's me, nobody else. It's me. And standing there in the middle of the room, owning my work, and instead of using the we, using I. That's a whole other story. But people need that. You have to understand the balance between being humble and when to use the we and when to take ownership and say I, because that's when you get promoted and you are visible and you start advancing.
Okay, so we know that it's not your native language, so congratulations, because I think it's a big deal and it's important to be focused in that. So thank you, Diana.
Okay, finally we'll have a last question for Daniel.
Uh, Hi again. Well,
Hello.
you say to us that you know English, French, and obviously Spanish, but I would like to know how much you recommend to have more than English and Spanish as language before to get our bachelor or get our degree and to start to work in a big enterprise like are you working there? So I would like to know how much important is have more than two language in these cases.
Mhm. So, well, in Montreal, it's not as important because everybody's bilingual and multilingual. Like here, everybody speaks French and English and Italian, and like people are multilingual here. It's very particular here in Quebec. And well, in North America in general, you have to speak English if wherever you go, if you want to get a job, of course. Um, in the reality of Latin America, I know that if you are multilingual or you speak English, you are bilingual, for example, you you have better chances of leading teams, you have better jobs, you have better, you have the opportunity to work for multi international companies within Latin America, which is excellent. That's great. So I 100% encourage everybody to learn languages for fun and also for career growth. You all speak very well. Everybody's very clear. So like you just have to try and keep practicing, 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 and you will get better. It won't be perfect because none of us were born there or here or whatever. Like we all have accents. We have to own that. We will make mistakes, and that's totally normal. People see through that. Like people are not scrutinizing how you speak. That's the first paranoia that we get. Like people are catching up your mistakes. It doesn't go like that. People are focused on their things and you are just talking, and that's normal. We make mistakes in Spanish like all the time. People speak bad. Like in general, you make mistakes in any language. So it's not a thing. It's more about confidence, owning that, and appreciating your accent and appreciating your mistakes because it's your tool, your communication tool. So don't be ashamed of making mistakes, or I'm uncomfortable, or like, no, be proud. And it's hard, but like you get there.
Okay, thank you so much, Diana.
My pleasure.
Well, Diana, thank you so much once again for accepting this invitation. We are so proud about you because, yes, we must just say this is an impressive career. And
Oh,
yeah,
that's so sweet.
it's an awesome performance in your profession. So, yes, thank you very much for all that you learned to us this morning. Thank you so much for our Director of Faculty of Social Communication and Journalism for staying with us, Teacher Hector and Teacher Andres, too. And well, for everybody, remember you can follow this transmission in our channel of YouTube, UPB BGA. So have a nice day, our dear Diana.
Have a good one, everyone. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Límites aquí, más límites. Límites en todos lados. ¿Qué hacer con ellos? Romperlos, superarlos, aceptarlos, retarlos. Los límites están ahí hasta que decides lo contrario. Tu pasión, sueño, proyecto o idea necesita todo de ti. Necesita que vivas sin límites. La UPB es el lugar donde las personas como tú lo cambian todo. Te estamos esperando.